everybody, what's happening? Phillip Siddiq here, host Phillip Siddiq Show. Silicon Valley Comic Con, the first annual one, 2016. It was crazy, off the chain, wild. Just on Saturday alone, they had 30,000 people attend. It was crazy crowded. The panels were fantastic. They had the Back to the Future panel. And folks, we had access. We had the golden ticket. We were going to film that panel. It was one of the most popular ones the weekend. But I got sick. Yes, vomited everywhere, couldn't go to the panel. I was disappointed, as I know some of you are. But never fear. We have Stan Lee, Excelsior. Yes, we do have his panel, so sit back, relax. We're going to show you some exclusive clips from the panel for Stan Lee. I mean, if you get an opportunity to see him, you really should take it. He had so much knowledge, so much comedy that he does, and he does not embarrass anyone for asking a question. So that's good for him, Stan Lee. So we'll see you again later in the show.
Well, the best way to make money in comics is to be the best writer you can. They get paid a lot of money. To be the best artist in comics, they get paid a lot of money. Or to own a comic book company like Marvel, which sells so many books, they make a lot of money. I don't think that's the answer you were looking for, but I don't know how else to put it. If you want to make a lot of money in comics, you either have to own the company, or you have to be one of the people producing the comics, but you have to be one of the people producing the best-selling comics of all, and which I'm not anymore. I haven't been doing comics for a while, and I am so jealous of these guys who are having all the fun now. For instance, the guy, what's his name, who did Deadpool? Rob Liefeld. He's a friend of mine. And Deadpool is such a good character, but I didn't have a chance to invent him. He did it first. And the guy who did Wolverine, I mean, they should have let me invent Wolverine. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet, that's all. I always loved Captain America. I did not create him. Joe Simon and Jack Kirby created Captain America. But when I came to work there a million years ago, he was the first character that they let me, they'd say, Stan, I don't like the way this page is written. Would you rewrite it? They let me work on Captain America. I edited it, I proofread it, I rewrote some pages. After a while, they let me actually write some of the stories. So he was the first real professional one that I worked on. And there was something about him. Jack, in his artwork, made Cap look so heroic. Anybody, sort of like Errol Flynn, anybody would have wanted to look like Captain America. And then, years later, when we were doing all our characters, and we had the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and on, and I was looking to introduce somebody else, and I thought, why not bring back Captain America? Well, he was dead. How do you bring him back? So I figured out in my own clever way that he had fallen off an airplane into ice somewhere in the North Pole or somewhere, and he was frozen alive. And some people dug him up and he came back to life. But to make him interesting, he was a guy who was out of time. He was from a different age. He didn't understand hippies and all the things that were going on. He was an anachronism. And that, to me, made him a more interesting character than if he had just been a guy fighting the bad guys. It took him a while to adjust to this new life years later after he had been frozen in the ice cube. And somehow, even though Jack was no longer doing it after a while, he had established a character that was so great looking that no matter who drew Captain America later, he always looked wonderful. And then in the movie, I don't know if you remember, the first, was it in the Captain America movie that he first appeared, or the Avengers? In the Captain America movie, I thought they were so brilliant the way they got a little kid who looked like Steve Rogers, and they injected him with whatever that fluid was, and he became Steve Rogers, Captain America. The way they established his identity in that movie. I thought was brilliant. That's something I wish I had written. In fact, I shouldn't have said that. You might have thought I wrote it. You would have been given it. Now I let the cat out of the bag. Oh, well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.